Yep, can't see a thing.
Hollywood? More like Hollywood!
Amphibia Season 3 is keeping the ball rolling with the return of Mr. X, the introduction of a mad scientist, and Easter eggs tying the series to its sister show, The Owl House. This is our breakdown of Season 3, Episode 8, Hollywood Hop Hop, and If You Give a Frog a Cookie. We're going to run through these episodes for all the details you may have missed. And to stay in the loop of all things Amphibia during our Season 3 coverage, please be sure to subscribe to the Roundtable with notifications on so you never miss a video. With all that said, let's dive in. Embracing the revised status quo and anime influence, Amphibia has updated 2 visuals in the Season 3 opening, reflecting Marcy's assimilation into the core, creating the new persona known as Darcy. Instead of Andrea swinging his sword in front of the core and a comatose Marcy in the rejuvenation tank, the tank has now been replaced with Darcy standing tall, with a big ol' grin on their face. The 10 eyes of the helmet opening in sync with the 9 eyes of the core. Darcy also has a flowing red cape. You think it's gonna catch on fire? Actually, if the box does get destroyed in a volcano, Lord of the Rings style, Marcy's cape catching on fire could be some grim foreshadowing. Hope not though! Darcy's also been added to the big crowd of characters at the end of the theme song, eclipsing the moon as they look back menacingly, eyeing Anne as if they're ready to wreak some havoc. But wait, there's more! Andreas' expression takes on a whole new meaning with the inclusion of Darcy here. Before, it looked like he was just kinda angry and evil at nothing. But now, this looks more like a nasty glare at the one he serves. Couple this with Andreas already sort of butting heads with the core on its host, and the troubled look on his face when Marcy was assimilated, perhaps Andreas may betray his master in the endgame of the series. I'm not saying he'll become an ally to our heroes, but rather defect and pursue his own goals, in opposition to both Anne and the core. I do wonder if we're going to have more changes to the theme song as the season progresses, considering that we've now experienced a majority of the scenes in it through various episodes, and we're only halfway through. It's neat to see both Amphibia and the Owl House update their openings after major status quo changes in both of their current seasons. Alright, let's move on to Hollywood Hop Hop, an episode that puts a nice bow on Hop Hop's arc as an inspiring actor. We open with Anne taking the Plantars on a Hollywood tour, leaving Habadiah blown away at how actors are treated with respect on Earth, reflecting on his failed experience as an actor on Amphibia, calling back to the sham of a play in a caravan named Desire, but believing Earth may be a shot at redemption. Anne warns against Hop Hop pursuing such an idea, considering FBI agent Mr. X is still after them. But Hop Hop ignores her and books it out of there, trampling a Sesame Street character in the process, running face first into a fellow senior citizen in an audition line. This man is named Humphrey Westwood, and he's a sweet old Hop Hop lookalike from the theme song. Also in line is a character who looks conspicuously like Master Roshi from Dragon Ball, albeit in his beefed up max power state. Perhaps he's flexing his way into stardom. Humphrey generously surrenders his turn to audition as a kind gesture to Hop Hop, landing the frog in an audition for an elbow cream commercial that he believes is a play, where Hop Hop mistakenly coins a new catchphrase for the brand.
Say what?
Landing him the gig on the spot. Talk about luck. Unfortunately, this is the exact opposite of what Anne wanted to happen, as instead of keeping a low profile, Hop Hop is now plastered all over TV and internet advertisements alike, including Mr. X's tablet, as the agent tries to enjoy an episode of Judge Julie, a parody of Judge Judy, when he's thrown off guard by Hop Hop's ad, tracking down the filming location of the commercial shortly after, and patting himself on the back for his refusal to pay for ad-free streaming. This man knows how to budget, we gotta respect it. Also, Mr. X has adopted the frogs Mr. and Mr. Boutroy swapped out the Plantars for in his previous appearance, meeting all of their needs. I honestly find that really wholesome. And on the refrigerator of Mr. X's home are 2 posters of RuPaul's Drag Race, of course hosted by Mr. X's voice actor, RuPaul, and there's also an alien magnet and Space Invader magnets. Mr. X also has a conspiracy board with photographs of Hop Hop in his human disguise and the Boon Choys, which has me thinking he may crack the code on where the Plantars have come from. Think about it, he identifies the Boon Choys, realizes String Bean is actually their daughter Anne, discovered that Anne went missing 5 months ago, and connect the dots of Anne's disappearance to a certain plot point from the following episode. The evidence allowing him to form a pretty solid hypothesis. Anne tries to get the commercial pulled before the advertisement spread further, when she receives a call from Fumigator director Mitch Harbour, a spoof of Michael Bay, which makes sense as Fumigator is of course a parody of Transformers. Also for some reason he didn't direct the 3rd Fumigator, which I'm not sure if that's referencing anything, as Michael Bay did direct the 3rd Transformers. Mitch Harbour wants Hop Hop for a new role in his newest movie, exciting Hop Hop so much he yells his newfound catchphrase, drawing a crowd as a result. Catching wind of Hop Hop's big break, Mr. X calls in reinforcements to meet him at the water tower, one that's intended to be the Warner Bros. Water Tower in Burbank.
That is where the Animaniacs live.
Hop Hop is pursued by Mr. X, who's pursued by Anne. All 3 are in golf carts. Sprig learns Suspicion Island isn't real, and learns not every actor's accent is real. I know the pain. And Hop Hop bumps into Humphrey in the lot, revealing his day job as a studio janitor. And Hop Hop has a change of heart, despite Humphrey's incredible support and kind words. Hopadiah decides to return the favor from earlier, and surrenders his meeting with Mitch to Humphrey, recognizing he wouldn't have made it this far without Humphrey in the first place. Again, wholesome. This allows Mr. X to be made out as a fool once more, as he storms out the water tower only to mistake Humphrey for Hop Hop, offending Mitch in the process for attacking Hollywood's newest star. In his embarrassing defeat, Mr. X is more enraged than he's ever been, retreating to get ice cream with Jenny. Yeah, I think this might be the last straw. And before he strikes out 3 times, Mr. X is going to throw everything he has at Ann and the Plantars, going all out to ensure their capture once and for all. Because now, his reputation is on the line. And when you toy with a man's reputation, dangerous things can happen. Or cringy things, maybe a mix of both, we'll see. This episode concludes with what I believe to be another death flag for Hop Hop, as he states,
"It's time for this old frog to stop pining after what he doesn't have and start seriously protecting the things he does."
The key word there is serious, as if a grim situation may arise soon that demands Hop Hop to put his life on the line for his loved ones, prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice. Up next is If You Give a Frog a Cookie, an episode that brings back various plot points in a surprisingly tight way, while setting the stage for greater events to come. We open with Ann trying to tend for the Plantars as we finally touch on their homesickness, the family falling into a depression without a ticket home. Ann whips them up a makeshift swamp, and cicada cookies, the latter of which lands Mr. Boonchoy a face full of bug bits. And Mrs. Boonchoy informs Ann that she can't keep coddling the Plantars just because she feels bad. They need to learn to cope on their own, a lesson Ann's parents may have had to learn when she went missing for 5 months, supported by the community around them, but ultimately, it was up to them to learn better coping mechanisms and get back on their feet. The Plantars are struggling so hard, they made a miniature recreation of Wartwood, the mark of insanity for any cartoon character going through a hard time.
I need 20 Krabby Patties, please. Sure thing, old buddy old squid.
But luckily, Ann gets an update from Dr. Jan. There's finally a lead on getting the Plantars back home, a mysterious scientist by the name of Dr. Frakes. But Jan wants to do more research and make sure Frakes is a reliable scientist and not some nut job. Spoiler alert, she is a nut job. Unfortunately, the Plantars are too excited at the prospect of returning back to Amphibia and guilts Ann into pursuing Dr. Frakes sooner rather than later. They head over to the Brainasium, a science museum geared at children, and I love how you can see Sprig fidgeting and in awe at everything. We love the ADHD representation. Masquerading as reporters looking to interview Dr. Frakes, Ann and the gang are introduced to Terri, the lab assistant of Dr. Frakes, voiced by Katie Micucci, who questions Ann's age, Phineas and Ferb style.
Aren't you a bit young to be a reporter?
Shortly after, Dr. Frakes arrives, voiced by the one and only Cree Summer, thrilled at the prospect of the media finally recognizing her discoveries, such as a proclaimed portal to another dimension. Frakes is very reminiscent of characters such as Dr. Eggman from the Sonic the Hedgehog series, which of course is a huge inspiration for Amphibia. As it turns out, Frakes' portal to another dimension was a result of Ann, Marcy, and Sasha being transported to Amphibia when they activated the Calamity Bots, unleashing a wave of energy that surged throughout Los Angeles, reaching Frakes' laboratory, briefly generating a blue vortex that sucked in Frakes' Skipman, the same Skipman that would wind up in Utopia before being recovered by the curator, Mr. Pons. Ann's currently in possession of the Skipman, but it doesn't make an appearance in this episode. I was kinda hoping it'd pop up again, however, for all we know, it could have been left behind in Amphibia. Of course, a flashback of Ann opening the Calamity Box is recycled from the previous theme song, and the episode Best Franz, accompanied with the opening note of said theme song. Frakes has been struggling to prove the legitimacy of her portal despite numerous instances where she was able to repeat the experiment. Part of the issue is that the images she captured from these other dimensions are distorted, backed up by her displaying 4 images on screen, one of which being, wouldn't you know it, a picture of the Owl House. This Easter egg serves as another piece of evidence that Amphibia and the Boiling Isles exist in the same multiverse, both of which are also shared with the likes of Gravity Falls. Many fans believe the Demon Realm was depicted in A Day at the Aquarium, within Andrews' book on the Calamity Box, and this seems to be more fuel for the interdimensional fire. Frakes tries to give the portal another go, generating a portal to a never before seen dimension for about 5 seconds. This dimension could be one of the other worlds in Andrews' book, and thus one that's on his agenda for conquest, but it's not what the Plantars were hoping for. I suspect because this portal lacks an energy signature from the Calamity Box, which of course hails from Amphibia itself. In order to get home, they're going to need a solid power source that's explicitly tied to the box, like power that may emit from a certain blue transformation, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The experiment removes the Plantars from their disguises, prompting Frakes to kidnap them on the spot, wanting to claim them as her next big discovery, nearly dissecting the frog family with her Frakes Sliceotron. But Terri and Anne team up to save the day, utilizing the power of snacks to send Frakes straight to a toddler-infested grave. The Plantars get called out and learn to stop goating others to get what they want. Terri declares that she'll help build a portal to Amphibia, giving us a new ally, and the episode comes to a close with Sprig violating traffic laws. And that's everything we got for this week. And as always, I want to know what you guys think. How'd you feel about these episodes? Which one of the two was your favorite? Let us know in the comments down below, or keep the conversation going over at Roundtable Vids and at OstricFox on Twitter and Instagram. If you enjoyed this video, please sort of like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. See ya!